softball in Oxford, Mississippi. Number 20, Ole Miss hosts number 1 Tennessee for Game 2 of this 3-game set today. Ole Miss lineup today is in that 8th spot in Emma Clark, but other than that, same household names for Tennessee today. Again, they out-hit Ole Miss yesterday a lot to a little. Ole Miss only had 2 hits, and Tennessee had 5 yesterday. And Ole Miss's defense, same as yesterday. In fact, exact same as yesterday. Jane Ponin left, Taylor Malvins in center, and the former Lady Vol Lair Boutte, who got a standing ovation on her senior day from the Lady Vols fans in attendance today. Angelina De Leon and the freshman second baseman Mackenzie Pickens are up the middle. Ashton Lansdale back at third base for just the second time this season. She's been in the outfield all year. Now she's in the hot corner these last 2 days, and the freshman Percy Yamus is on first base today for Ole Miss. Lexi Brady, who could forget? One of 2 four-year returners, her and Angelina De Leon, back behind the plate today. So Bree Lopez gets the start today. What stood out to you about her performance yesterday?
I think yesterday they did a great job at bringing her in when they did. I think it really kind of kept their hitters, the Tennessee hitters, completely off balance. I mean, you saw her in that last inning. She was able to get a pop-up to the outfield and 2 Ks to finish the game.
First pitch swinging, and we're off and running as Fiedler fouls it off. Souvenir for somebody. And the Lee's Summit, Missouri native, and the senior in year 4 for softball career. First season, though, at Tennessee. Fiedler had 3 hits yesterday. She was 3 for 4. Shows bunt, lays it down, avoids the softball. She stepped over it, but it's foul. So 0-2 to the Lady Vols leadoff hitter today. Fiedler also recorded her 8th triple yesterday, Carly.
Her 8th. I mean, and you also look at her size. She's not a very big girl. I mean, a lot of scouting reports will tell you that this girl just gets on a lot.
She tried to get on here. That bunt just spun a little too much foul. Sometimes that's the...
Here you see a little bit different of an approach, too, trying to put down that sneaky bunt early in the game in attempts to try to get somebody on base.
Ole Miss fans in attendance wanted that one. Bree Lopez just calm, cool, collected. Jamie Traxel telling us earlier today. As cool as a cucumber. Lopez beginning her career at Hawaii. Spent 2 seasons there. She's from Riverside, California. Took a chance on herself. Transferred to the SEC, and Ole Miss took a chance on her. This is Bree Lopez's 8th start this year. Coach Traxel and the rest of her Ole Miss staff celebrating 11 seniors today in a packed house at the Ole Miss softball stadium. Ole Miss's brand new $32 million home. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So far, Bree Lopez continuing where she left off last night.
I mean, she does a really great job there at utilizing her off-speed pitch, which I think UT hitters are going to see a lot of today. You'd imagine that's a part of the conversation they had yesterday.
How do you adjust to that off-speed pitch?
The hard part is that she'll also throw it for a strike and it can be called. So it's not only one that you just want to lay off of, but it's one that she's going to continue to throw you over and over again.
Taylor Panel steps in. She leads Tennessee's offense in 9 offensive categories. Strike 1. I think she'll put that on her resume.
What?
I led the team in 9 offensive categories.
It wouldn't be a bad start.
She'll definitely have a career in softball after her days at Tennessee. Nice play by De Leon. On the hop, throws out Panel. That's a tough play. It was smoked off the barrel.
It was. I think the difference in between her making that play and getting her out is where she is in the field there, excuse me. If she's a little bit more up, she may not have caught that bounce and it might have rolled to the outfield.
Doesn't get any easier for Bree Lopez in this first inning. Now it's McKenna Gibson at the plate, hitting .333 this season. Gibson was 0 for though last night. Had a fly out, strikeout, ground out. In her 4th season at Tennessee, 2-time All-SEC first-teamer in 23 and 24. Preseason All-SEC this year. Couldn't catch up to it, 1-1. Bri Lopez got the save last night. Her first save on the season, her 7th of her career. Had 3 saves a season ago in her first year at Ole Miss. There's that off speed. Is it the spin? Is it the drop? What is it about that off speed of hers that is just so lethal?
I think it's a combination of both. You know, you try to pick up as a hitter something that the pitcher is giving you, whether, you know, like we talked about yesterday, if it's a slowdown of the arm or if they're not exploding as hard on the mound. And here it's just hard to tell. You have no idea it's coming.
Had Gibson fooled again. Lopez talked about in year 2 at Ole Miss, she's just has more confidence wearing that jersey again for a 2nd year. Also more swagger, Lopez said this year. Downstairs. Well, Lexi Brady thought it was strike 3. Now it's a full count. Maris Addison behind home plate today. Matt Dial, our crew chiefs at first, and Jill Pools at 3rd. Again, Ole Miss looking to take the series against number 1 Tennessee. It'll be the first time ever that Ole Miss has taken the series against the top team in the nation. Tennessee has not lost a series in conference play on the road. As Jaden Pone leads off for Ole Miss. Carlin Pickens back in the circle today for Tennessee. The 2024 consensus first-team All-American, reigning SEC Pitcher of the Year. Struggled in that 3rd inning last night, Carly, but she got off to a great start, looking to bounce back today.
She did. I think yesterday you saw a little bit different speed change in her. I mean, you know, there's been a lot of hype on how fast she can throw, but I don't think that we saw as many quick pitches as we are used to seeing from Carlin Pickens. You know, being pulled in the first 2 innings, I think gives her a solid opportunity to show up today and possibly even tomorrow. Absolutely.
Took a look at Ole Miss's lineup coming into today, too. No changes for Jamie Traxel offensively from yesterday, as Jaden Pone is ahead 3-0. Leading Ole Miss with that .392 batting average this season. Now it's 3-1. Pone in her 2nd season at Ole Miss, one of 11 seniors celebrating Senior Day today. Began her career at Longwood. Jaden Pone's 48th hit this season. She has really come on in the later part of the year. In April, she's hitting .486. Just insane, Carly.
It's absolutely insane. I mean, you talk about being a force, and it's at the start of your lineup. I mean, that's a hard batter to face at the top of your lineup when you don't want anybody on.
Now the former Lady Vol, Lair Boutte, steps up. Boutte was 0 for 3 last night. Swings and misses at the first pitch from Pickens. Boutte went to the Women's College World Series in one of the 2 years she was at Tennessee and transferred to Houston last season. And now in her first year at Ole Miss. A career .310 hitter. Boutte hit .293 in 2022 at Tennessee, then .250 in year 2. She missed the first 17 games of the season, Boutte, due to recovering from injury, from off-season surgery. Jamie Traxel knew that she would miss part of the season, but her and Jamie Traxel go a couple of years back. Coach Traxel tried bringing Boutte to Oxford. But I thought it was cool because Lair Boutte, you know how everybody has Senior Day videos that you make, you know, one last goodbye that lives on the internet, you can have forever. But Lair Boutte also thanked Karen Weekly in that video, which I thought was really, really cool. She said, you know, I want to thank Karen for letting a kid like me to live out my dream.
You know, we mentioned yesterday that there was there were no hard feelings there on either side. You know, I think as a player, as a coach, you're just excited to see your girls be successful in the sport, really.
Strikes out to Carlin Pickens, former teammate, and Pickens, after allowing the leadoff single to Pone, strikes out Lair Boutte. 197 Ks for Pickens now this season as she faces Aaliyah Binford, transfer from Baylor. I want to go back to Pickens, Carly. After yesterday, just 2 innings of work for Pickens, not her best outing.
You wonder what she made different or what adjustments were made, in the last less than 24 hours or so that maybe helped prepare her better for today.
I was going to say, that knowing the competitor she is, as Binford held up, I bet she wanted the ball today after taking the loss last night.
I think absolutely. I think any pitcher wants to come back out here, especially, given her resume and how colorful it is. I think she's an aggressive player.
Off the end of the bat and spun 2, Carlin Pickens just outside the circle. That moves up Jaden Pone. And 2 away for Ole Miss in this first inning. Pickens came into this weekend leading the SEC in strikeouts and ERA and innings pitched. Also walks, hits per inning. I mean, on her way to become a 2-time All-American after this year, right? I mean, safe to say?
You would assume, yes.
Now she faces Ole Miss's star freshman Percy Yamas. I should say one of Ole Miss's star freshmen. Yamas hitting .366 coming into today, 0 for 2 yesterday. She struck out last night. Jamie Traxel spent hours, she said, making sure everything was picture perfect. Fly ball out to right. Lair Boutte near the line makes the catch and retires Sophia Nugent. Carly Hummel, Jake Ramada with you. Rest of our fantastic crew today. Jack Robertson directing, Mason Atkins producing. And 1 away in the second inning. Gabby Leach steps up. Her second season at Tennessee. Her twin sister Alana on the team as well. And a long line in the Leach family that have donned Tennessee orange. And beginning with her older sister Aubrey, 2-time All-American and is on staff right now.
That has to be an awesome experience for the family too, I could only imagine sending so many kids to UT and watching them all be so successful has to be rewarding as a parent.
I can't even imagine sending one.
Much less all 4.
Well, the Leach family, they're 4 for 4 on their daughters playing SEC softball. That is absolutely amazing. There's that off speed, just misses the corner. Brie Lopez so far has retired the first 4 batters that she's seen.
You see here, cool, calm, and collected. She wanted that pitch, and I think give it a couple more innings and she'll get it.
You never really know what Brie Lopez is thinking. You would hate to play her in poker because you just wouldn't know.
Can't quite make out what it is.
Hack and miss.
That was dirty. That's fantastic play right there. The way that this ball comes out of her hand, you can't even tell, and she is too. You can see it in the hitter there. Leach knew that was not the pitch for me.
2 quick outs for Tennessee in this second inning, trying to bounce back and even up this series after last night's 1-run loss. Ole Miss won 3-2. Check swing for Laura Mealer. 0-1 to start. Hitting north of 300 this year, Mealer. Also in her senior year. Transferred in from Middle Tennessee State last season.
This is one of those Tennessee players that can get a hold of her off speed. So I think if anybody's going to be successful here from the UT lineup, it's going to be here.
Yeah, Mealer has 40 hits this season, more than the 32 she had last year. It's always different when you transfer in It's hard to adjust in that first year, and then that second year, and she's talked about it too in interviews before. Year 2, you just feel more yourself.
You get a little bit more of the kinks worked out. I think you start to understand more of the conference, what's expected of you, of play. It's not easy entering the SEC. I mean, this is the strongest conference in the nation.
Brie Lopez got that call, 2-2. And Mueller last year hit 278 in her first season as a Lady Vol. And once again, north of 300 hitting this year. On the ground to third. Our first look at Lansdale in the hot corner today, and she throws out Mueller. Brie Lopez has retired the first 6 batters through 1.5. In fact, Brady nearly broke the record last night with a 50-50 ball down the left field line. And there's some laughs being shared here. So that was a foul ball to Aaron Earlywine, the third base coach for Ole Miss. Did he overthrow Pickens?
He did. He did. I think he tried to fire it in there a little bit too hard, and it passed over to third.
Brady swings at the high stuff, 1-2. Pickens allowed a single back in the first, then got a strikeout and 2 groundouts to get out of it. Looking for a bounce back outing today. Karen Weekly said earlier this week in that loss against Clemson, Pickens didn't look her best. Didn't necessarily look her best yesterday either, as Brady flies this to left, and Morgan's under it to make the catch. 4 straight retired for Pickens, out number 1 in the second. Now up is Ole Miss's Pickens and Mackenzie Pickens. No relation, we promise. Mackenzie Pickens is from Georgia. 5th highest average on Ole Miss's roster. She's now had a hit in her last 5 games and got a hit off Carlin Pickens last night. Be cool to say. As a freshman, you get a hit off a consensus All-American inside the circle.
Pickens here in the circle will easily be one of the hardest, best pitchers I think that Pickens in the box has ever seen. So yes, it would be nice to add to her resume.
And Mackenzie Pickens goes around. 1-2. Mentioned she's on a 5-game hit streak. Her longest this season is 7. That was mid to late March. She drives this to left center. Way back there. Off the base of the wall. Mackenzie Pickens with a standing double in the second. The 6th of her young career. What a way to extend that hit streak to 6 games.
Again, here, in the second, I think was when we scored, or when Ole Miss scored yesterday. And, this is that energy that you're looking for. She just keeps her hands in and takes that ball deep center.
Small but mighty, 5'5". And Jamie Traxels even said she's got a lot of power to that small frame that she's got. Speaking of power, here's Ashton Lansdale, who coming into the series had homered 4 straight times. I should say in 4 straight games, to clarify. That streak ended yesterday, though, and she takes the delayed strike, 0-2. And the reigning SEC Pitcher of the Year has a little bit more traffic in back-to-back innings. However, she takes care of Ashton Lansdale, sits her down on 3 pitches.
There was that off speed, and I don't think she's really been able to utilize that a whole lot in the few innings that she's pitched here in Oxford this weekend, but I expect to see that a lot more.
Why do you think that is? It's just something with an off speed that's harder to locate, or maybe it's just being human?
Situational pitching, to be completely honest with you.
Angelina De Leon pops up in the infield with 2 outs. Gibson calls everybody off, and Ole Miss wastes the 1-out double from Brie Lopez inside the circle for Ole Miss. This is the version of Brie Lopez that the coaching staff has seen when no one's watching. The elite stuff that she can bring. As Ella Dodge wanted to play a little small ball, fouled it off, 0-1. Bradenton, Florida native, hitting .217 coming into this season. Redshirt freshman. She joined Tennessee back in January of 2024 and redshirted last year. Was 1 for 3, I should say 0 for 3 last night against Ole Miss. 2 groundouts, also a strikeout. However, against Clemson earlier this week, she scored the first run of the ball game back in the third. Offered at that, 1-2.
I think you expect to see a lot of this small ball play here in efforts for Tennessee to just attempt to get somebody on here. Again, with that off speed, paints that outside corner for a swing and a miss.
This is still the first time through for Bri Lopez against Tennessee this afternoon. Emma Clark steps up, number 13, a freshman from Cleveland, North Carolina. She's played in now 10 of the last 11 games for Tennessee. A D1 softball top 100 freshman listee, also Softball America freshman watch list as well. Blasts this to center. Taylor Malvin near the warning track and the wall, makes the catch. Boy, that's the hardest hit ball that Tennessee's had tonight. And Bri Lopez has retired 8 straight to begin this ball game.
That's what you want to see from your pitchers. Coming out here, throwing the pitches that you need to, limiting the amount of base runners, and truthfully, the amount of pitches for her to throw, with potential to see her tomorrow with the start this well and a finish with the save last night.
And Bri Lopez getting her first save last night in Ole Miss's 3-2 win against the Lady Vols. The first time since 2017 Ole Miss has beaten the #1 team in the nation. Savia Morgan at the plate. Has an even 1-1 count. Columbia, Tennessee native. Hitting .331 in her first season of collegiate softball. Morgan has 23 stolen bases this year too. She's 5th in the SEC with those. Karen Weekly talked about Morgan's ability to take information and apply it. Not apply it over time, but apply it quickly. That's key when you're young, right? Set your ego aside, learn from your coaches, and apply what they're talking about.
And you talk about promise throughout the years. I mean, you give her a few more years underneath her belt, and this girl's going to be, I mean, she's fantastic now. I can't imagine what she'll be with a few more years of experience.
Off the mark from Lopez, 3-2. 2 away for Tennessee, nobody on. Bri Lopez looking to retire her 9th straight Lady Vol. Off the end of the bat, weird spin on Lansdell. Morgan safe at first. That was zigzagging in the dirt, and Lansdell just couldn't figure out the puzzle. Watch the spin on this.
You argue if that was an off speed too that just hit the end of the bat.
See what they wind up scoring that for Savia Morgan. But now that brings up Kinsey Fiedler. 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. Had 3 hits last night. Picked up her 8th triple of the season last night. Ties herself to Schutzler also to a recent Tennessee Athletics Hall of Fame inductee as of, 2 weeks ago we were told?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Yeah. One of the greatest of all. Schutzler.
I mean, you see her move up in the box here. She knows she's getting that off-speed pitch here.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 5 Ks for Bri Lopez through now 3 innings. All the restaurants and bars uptown playing both softball and baseball today. As Taylor Malvin leads off this 3rd inning. Johns Creek, Georgia native. Ole Miss so far has 2 hits. Stranded Jaden Pone on second base. In last inning, Mackenzie Pickens got a double off Carlin Pickens. Looking at an Ole Miss team too, Carly, that last night was 1 for 12 with runners on base. They somehow still squeaked it out. Can't do that again today, though.
No, you can't. I imagine that was a large conversation that they had in prep for today, that we need more production from both sides.
Are you surprised Carlin Pickens went today?
I am. I'm a little surprised. I don't. She didn't pitch enough yesterday. I think that you give her the full day off. I mean, there would have been things that she would have worked on today anyways had you not seen her in this game. But I think that the Ole Miss Rebels should prepare to see her tomorrow. Especially
with how well Sage Margetko's been pitching too. We didn't see Margetko out of the bullpen yesterday. It was Aaron Newer, the freshman, instead. And you see why they did that. Aaron Newer came in and shut down Ole Miss the rest of the game. But Margetko too, she was lights out against Auburn last weekend in Tennessee's sweep against the Auburn Tigers. As Malvin takes outside. Margetko had 8 strikeouts in game 1 and 4 innings. And in game 2, 6 innings of work. Allowed just 1 earned run and 5 strikeouts. Just pounding the zone all last weekend against Auburn.
You wonder why she wasn't put in yesterday. I mean, I know we give the freshman a start.
3rd K in the day for Pickens. She's now up to 199 this year.
Gets that inside corner.
Now Pickens faces the top of the order. And Jaden Pone singled in her last at bat. And again, Ole Miss's hottest hitter in the month of April. Her 11-game hit streak ended last night.
What phenomenal effort from your senior, too, to really start your lineup up. It's fantastic. I mean, that's what you want to see. It's what you want to lead with. And you can only imagine the type of captain and leader she's been for this Ole Miss Rebel team.
Backhanded by Mealer. Jump throw to first. Not in time. Jaden Pone is 2 for 2 against Carlin Pickens today. 3rd straight inning that Ole Miss has a runner aboard. Now if you're a Rebels fan, you ask, well, what are we going to do with it?
Score it. Yeah, the idea is score her, But like we said, I think, talking to Trashel earlier, they're going to play a lot of smart ball. She said a lot of simple ball. She wants her girls to be loose. She wants them to be comfortable. And right now, I think that you're seeing a little bit of that comfortability.
Claire Boutte fouls that one off to 3rd. Struck out her first time up. She also missed 3 games recently after colliding with the right field sidewall. She was going after a pop-up fly ball near the wall and crashed into it. Missed some games last weekend against Georgia, and that happened in game 1 of the Florida series. Missed the rest of the series. She was a little bit in the haze after that. Jamie Traxler decided to give her about a week and a half. And she got a piece of that. Still nothing in 2. So Boutte back healthy. However, she was 0 for 4 in 2 games last weekend against Georgia. She did reach base a couple of times. Lays off. One and 2 to Boutte. A weak chopper to first, and Gibson takes care of Boutte. 2 gone for Ole Miss. Jaden Pone moves up to second base. That brings up Aaliyah Binford. talking a little bit about those senior day videos, and I thought Aaliyah Binford had a really powerful quote in hers. This is her 6th year of softball. She said to her younger self, "You'll walk into this world as a student athlete full of belief and resilience, and you'll walk out with a story that no state."
Before we get this one started between A&M and locations. We know the teams will be in the field, but what could this weekend do to their potential?
Mentioned too that Ole Miss today has 3 hits. They've stranded the runner on second base all 3 times in scoring position. And again, that's why I mentioned the Rebels were 1 for 12 yesterday with runners on base, because the trend is continuing into today. Taylor Panel at the plate. Nothing in 1. Grounded out her first time up. She's on a 19-game on-base streak, too, including a 6-game hit streak.
You're watching a lot of these hitters come up to bat with a bunt for their first ball that they're seeing from Bree. And I think the reason for that is because, one, they know that the off-speed is coming, and they're truthfully just trying to see it. Catch it, touch it.
Instead, the third baseman. And I also feel like, too, Carly, there aren't a lot of pitchers like Bree Lopez in the league. It's tough to prepare for her.
It is. It's a hard scout report there. I mean, she can throw for speed, but she's also going to throw a lot of spinny stuff.
Lexi Brady throws it into right. Panel's on the move to second base. She's there safely. Tennessee's in business with Panel at second base. A rare mistake from the veteran catcher Lexi Brady behind home plate. That brings up McKenna Gibson.
And reports on her that this girl just comes in clutch. She's given herself a clutch opportunity here to score that runner on second for UT.
It's now the second error, too, on Ole Miss today. But one thing, if you're Ole Miss and you're trying to take down the #1 team in the nation, you got to have a stellar day defensively.
You have to. It's expected of you, especially when you're at a 0-0 ball game here. And with 3 hits, you expect to see a little bit more production there on the scoreboard.
And now Gibson trying to lay one down. Nothing in 2. Gibson struck out her first time up. First real opportunity this afternoon for Tennessee to bring in a run. Bree Lopez started the day retiring the first 8 batters she saw. Here's a deep fly, center field, and Malvin makes the catch. Panel tags from second. The throw a little off the mark from Malvin. And Gibson moves the runner over 60 feet for Sophia Nugent. And only one out, too.
Right, and here again, Karen Weekly talking about production. You know, I think she wants to see more of it. You imagine another conversation like yesterday if this runner here on third doesn't score.
Nugent has 45 RBIs this season. A career best for her. One of the highest marks, too, on this Volunteers team. Second most.
We talked a little bit about her yesterday. I mean, she is an absolute force at the plate.
Wanted to squeeze play, bunts it foul. That's how Ole Miss scored a run yesterday. Why not give Ole Miss a little taste of their own medicine?
Why not? You know, you wonder too, though. I don't know that the dugout screamed anything on that. I think you heard squeeze pretty late.
And that error comes back to haunt Ole Miss.
Errors all.
I know that's not an error. It's not going to go down as one. But that is a defensive miscue by Ole Miss.
And you know it's something that's talked about strongly there is, you know, communication in your outfield.
Gabby Leach at the plate, takes strike one.
Karen Weekly a little upset with the call there. I think she's upset with that strike zone.
Tennessee is up 1-0 in this fourth inning. As Leach swings and misses, strike three, and Bree Lopez has her sixth. Last inning, there was one Tennessee hit and an error on Ole Miss's defense. So Taylor Panel did single on the bunt to begin the fourth, advanced to second on the error, and a bloop to right gets down for Percy Yamas, and Ole Miss with a leadoff single in this fourth inning. 4 hits now today for Ole Miss, but so far coming into this inning, Carly, they've not been able to bring anybody around past second base.
They haven't. I think here in this inning you expect to see that with a pinch runner coming in. Maybe Lexi Brady will do what she did yesterday here.
Ole Miss brings in Taylor Strain, also celebrating senior day today. Began her career at Baylor. This is her one and only year at Ole Miss. And Lexi Brady steps in. Ole Miss today 0 for 7 with runners on base. And Brady off the inner part of the hands. 0-1. 1 for 1 yesterday, Brady. She walked twice. And it was the fourth time this year that Brady has had multiple walks in a game. Lines this into right, but right at Clark. She throws to first. Strahler was well off the bag, but she got back in time. Brady with a hard line out. She's 0 for 2 now today. And with one down, up comes Ole Miss's Mackenzie Pickens, who doubled off Carlin Pickens in her last at-bat.
You imagine here she's hoping to do the same thing, at least put runners in scoring position.
Pickens fouls it off. It was Mackenzie's 6th double of the season. How's a 6-game hit streak going? She had the RBI single in that 3-run second inning yesterday. Nothing in 2. Also in the Rocket City Showcase, she hit 600 at a homer. 6 ribbies.
Utilizing that off-speed pitch here, which I think you're going to see a little bit more of. She's been hit a little harder, I think, today than anybody anticipated on either sides.
Ashton Lansdale, in her last at-bat, struck out for the third time this series. Struck out twice last night, was 0 for 2.
She is making some adjustments at this at-bat. You know, last at-bat, I think she swung at majority of the off-speed pitches, and she watches that first one go.
It gets away from Nugent, and Strain moves up to second base. Ole Miss has had a runner on second base all 4 innings now. And they're 0 for 8 with runners on base to show for it.
It's frustrating, especially for your pitcher. You know, Bree's throwing a fantastic game here. The girls really got to put some numbers on the board if they want to at least help answer back. Make up for some errors.
Now 2-2. Tennessee, you think about it, didn't really have to earn their run in the top half of this inning. Taylor Panel reached on a bunt single. Wild throw by Alexi Brady. Went into right field. McKenna Gibson moved over, Panel to third, then sac fly RBI. There's your run today.
A lot of small ball. It's not going to take a lot of big movements here in order to get some scores across that board.
Down the first base line and foul. In fact, Pickens' double earlier in this game, that's just the second extra base hit of the series. Kenzie Fiedler had the triple last night for Tennessee, but we haven't seen a lot of power this weekend.
From both very powerful teams, you aren't seeing a lot of power. You're right. I think we're going to see more small ball here.
Got her, and Carlin Pickens is pumped. 5 Ks for Pickens today. Ole Miss strands their 4th headshot roaming around here somewhere as well, but Ole Miss softball loves to have fun with that camera out down the left field line. Every inning they go up and jump in it, smile, and they wave to the camera, say hi mom, hi dad, or whatever. And
what a nice opportunity for the girls too that play. You know, I mean, we've got such a collective group here, I think, on both sides of the teams. It's just nice to be able to give parents an opportunity to see their kids on TV if they can't be here to watch their girls play in person.
Absolutely. Laura Mueller leads off for Tennessee. She's 0 for 1 today and takes the first pitch outside. Mentioned earlier, she began her career at Middle Tennessee State, but always wanted to go to Tennessee. In fact, when her first conversations with Ralph and Karen Weekly, Mueller tore her labrum. And she was talking to them. She first heard about them when she was in 8th grade, but then the rule changed, right? You couldn't commit to a school until you were a junior in high school, and then COVID hit, and teams were still bringing back then super seniors, and so things kind of got muddy in that time of her recruiting process. Off the end of the bat, Bree Lopez makes the play, and Mueller's now 0 for 2. But Mueller went to Middle Tennessee State. Things worked out. Now she's wearing Tennessee orange. All things considered, you see Tennessee leading 1-0, but Bree Lopez has been fantastic today for Ole Miss. Carly, what's stood out to you about her performance?
Her composure. I think after yesterday's game, you come in here with expectations of maintaining the same energy that she finished with last night. I mean, you know, you wonder why we start her today. She was fantastic yesterday, even just in the few innings that she did throw for the save.
That was Lopez's first save of the season last night. And throws a first pitch strike to Ella Dodge. 2 errors today by Ole Miss. One back in the 3rd that did not come back to haunt the Rebels, but the one in the 4th did. Lexi Brady on a bunt single by Taylor Panel. Threw wide of first base into right. Panel moved up to second. Got moved over to third on a fly ball to center. And then Sophia Nugent hit Panel into. And Clark, at the time, probably had the hardest hit ball back in the 3rd inning when she flew out to the warning track in center. Slight breeze today. A lot of sunshine in Oxford. She fouls this off to all the Tennessee fans to the right. The stadium's kind of divided. You have all the Tennessee fans behind the first base dugout, all the Ole Miss fans from home plate. And behind the third base dugout, just feels like a postseason atmosphere today. Waved out and missed. Bree Lopez has 7 strikeouts today.
I think you said it right there. You're seeing postseason play here, and I think that's important as the girls are, in the forethought of postseason. I mean, it is just around the corner with one more series left of SEC play.
Savia Morgan steps in as Bree Lopez's 7 strikeouts, nearing her season high of 9. Savia Morgan reached on an error back in the 3rd inning, was left on first base. With an opportunity here and a runner on 2nd base. Freshman's hitting .283 against the SEC this year. 3rd highest on the Lady Vols roster. Just an impressive freshman campaign. Now she's ahead 3-0.
I think that's kind of an interesting concept here too, with like we were talking earlier about girls that have had other years that they could come back and the transferring and whatnot. You've got some girls with 6 years of experience. It's nice to see younger girls come in here and take advantage of the opportunity that they have.
And Karen Weekly said too that she knew she liked the player that Savia Morgan was, but she watched her play travel ball last summer and she could just see the massive improvement that Morgan made in her game and thought, this kid may start for us next year.
That's what you're looking for out of a player.
There's Coach Weekly. Year 24 for her. 8 Women's College World Series appearances, 13 Supers. 4-time SEC Coach of the Year as well. Payoff pitch. Inning continues. Top of the order up now. The first walk issued by Bree Lopez today.
And she's been fantastic in the circle today for the Rebels.
Really the only mistake she's made.
This one, yeah. I mean, she's not responsible for the errors. And then when the run did score there with the sack, with the outfielders colliding, there's nothing she can do about that either. I think she's done a fantastic job.
And Nancy Evans in the red short sleeve shirt, pitching coach in her first year at Ole Miss, having a chat with Lopez. Jamie Traxel also pulls the infield aside as well. This is strategy, you think, or runners on first and second base? If you're a pitcher, what do you want to hear from your pitching coach in this moment?
I think you go back to the basics here. I think you look at what she's done, what she did with pitches earlier, and how you can be most successful here without allowing a run to score.
Nancy Evans coming to Ole Miss from UIC, 6-time NCAA champion, 3 as a coach, 3 as a player at Arizona. Gives Bree Lopez a high 5, and let's see if the Lady Vols can capitalize with runners on first and second base, 2 away. And Ole Miss trying to keep this a 1-0 game. Lady Vols lost last night 3-2. Trying to even up this series. Not the case for Ole Miss. They're looking to beat Tennessee back-to-back nights. Kinsey Fiedler takes ball 1. She's been their hottest hitter this weekend at 3 hits last night. She does have 2 strikeouts today, but she's capable of making this potentially a 3-0 game, a 4-0 game.
4. Selective pitching here, I think, is going to play a large key in whether they're able to sit her down or if she's able to get on. It's not anybody you want to give something to. I mean, yesterday, like you said, she took it.
Down 1-2. And gets a piece of it, stays alive.
Bri Lopez really utilizing her off speed still this deep in the game, and watching the hitters still struggle with it. I mean, it's just a fantastic job by Bri Lopez.
Is it hard to stick with your stuff when you know you have runners on first and second? Got real interesting if Ella Dodge was ruled out at home plate. She ran into Ashton Lansdale as she was on her way to third base. The throw was plenty in time. But a good piece of hitting by Fiedler, her first hit today, and she brings in a run. If Brady fields that cleanly, Dodge is out.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. This is a 1-0 ball game. You wonder why they don't call a timeout here, too. Just kind of settle the field, bring everybody in for a moment. I'm looking for a strong finish here from Bri Lopez.
Taylor Panel at the plate. Runners on second and third for Tennessee, and takes a first pitch strike.
One thing about Bri Lopez, she is the ability for her to answer back even after having been hit hard or given up a run.
Tennessee scored the first run of the game back in the fourth inning. It started with Panel with a bunt single. She got to second base on an error by Brady, the catcher, and was brought around on a sac fly RBI. And now here in the fifth inning, 2 hits for 8 Ks for...
What exactly it is the problem, you identify the problem and then eliminate it. I think she's kind of settled down here a little bit, but that's also easy to do when you've got some runs up on the scoreboard. You can play a little bit more loose here, and you expect to see her play around with a little bit more pitching.
See Tenley Grisham pinch hitting for Ole Miss. The junior infielder from Philadelphia, Mississippi. And we're starting to see more on Pickens. We're starting to see her get pumped up, too. And she ended that fourth inning on back-to-back strikeouts. She's juicing up and gassing up her teammates, too. I mean, she is bringing the energy.
You watched her yesterday when she was pulled from that game, bring the girls in for a huddle and have a conversation. You know, hey, this was on me. That was my responsibility. Help me out. Now, you know, you didn't see the girls answer back for her immediately yesterday. Ole Miss took the win, but I think today she comes out and she shows up.
Now 1-2. Grisham this season hitting .208. She's 5 for 24 at the plate in her second season at Ole Miss. Swings and misses. Pickens has 6 Ks today. A lot more of the same from the 2024 consensus All-American.
Again, with that off speed right there, that drop ball.
Really is something to watch her work. When she is on, it is a lot of fun to see. As Taylor Malvin struck out back in the third inning. She's 0 for 1 today.
I'll say she's got a lot of colors in her pocket. I mean, like, she'll throw a lot of different stuff at you. There is no anticipating that you're going to get the same pitch twice.
Slow at 71. And you're seeing it at 70, mid-70s, too. I mean, 71 is maybe the slowest pitch we've seen today from her, or one of them.
She does a fantastic job at changing up her speeds. You know, the velocity. She throws a heavy ball. And when she lightens it up a little bit, I think that you still see a fantastic pitching effort here from Pickens.
And her teammates say in interviews, too, that, you know, Pickens off the field doesn't carry herself like an All-American. She's just 2 to end the fourth and 2 here to begin the fifth.
You see her really utilizing that inside corner. That's a fantastic pitch.
Now she faces Jaden Pone, who has 2 of Ole Miss's 4 hits today. "13 multi-hit games this season now for Jaden Pone.
And 63 miles per hour, I was just thinking to myself, that's almost 15 miles per hour slower than her fastest pitch. How does one prepare for that?
It's rolled foul by Pone. On your screen, too, it's really impressive when you think about it. 15 of the 20 batters she's faced, to 15 of them she's thrown a first pitch strike.
Consistency. I think it's something you'll see from every pitcher, on the UT staff. We've talked about how well staffed their pitching staff is this year. Their pitchers have done a fantastic job.
Pickens trying to sit down Ole Miss's hottest hitter so far this weekend and recently. And sometimes those happen too.
You watched in the huddle previously at the commence of the last inning, Pickens having a conversation with her pitching coach. Something is definitely off with her off-speed pitching right now. Is that ball? I mean, it hit the ground about halfway to her, I think.
Full count to Pone. The inning continues. First free pass today for Carlin Pickens.
Invisible frustration there. Pickens upset with herself, doesn't want to find herself in the same situation that she has the last 2 games that she's played in.
Yeah, yesterday she hit Percy Yamas in the second inning and then walked Lexi Brady, and that's when Ole Miss was able to score 3 runs. However, they did not do that yesterday in the second inning with 2 outs. As Lair Boutte takes strike 1. Over in the series so far, Boutte looking for her first hit against her former team. She went to the Women's College World Series with. Even during the Senior Day ceremony, Lair Boutte, the Tennessee fans have chants for each of their players, and I thought it was really classy that the Tennessee fans during Senior Day did their chant for Lair Boutte. Couldn't make out what it was, but they did it for her. I thought that was super cool.
What a nice way to appreciate her. It's just a nice way of appreciation, I think, as a whole. Thank you for coming to the school. And like we said, there are no hard feelings when you transfer.
Out comes Megan Rhodes-Smith, the 5th-year pitching coach for Tennessee. Carlin Pickens has thrown a dandy. 7 strikeouts, her first walk of the ball game just issued in her last batter to Jaden Pone. Allowed 3 earned runs yesterday to Ole Miss in 2 innings of work.
I think she's thrown an outstanding game. I do think that she is struggling a little bit here, and we've said it a few times today, but I don't think this is her best stuff. But, they're the number 1 team in the nation for a reason. They don't always need their best stuff. More of that 2-out production that you want to see. I think every team struggles with it the most. Something utilized and practiced on, I think, quite a bit.
Yeah, Ole Miss 0 for 4 with 2 outs today. 0 for 10 with runners on base. And that missed outside. I think everybody on Tennessee thought that was strike 3. And Jaden Pone took second base. And Karen Weekly wants Sir are making fun of you. It's yep. We're all the family though. It's okay. It's all big spot here for Ole Miss though. Payoff pitch from Pickens. Up the middle to the shortstop. Mueller makes the play. In all 5 innings, Ole Miss has stranded a runner at second base today. It's time they're loose, they're free. In fact, they're so loose and free, but they're playing well that Jamie Traxel's had to battle internally whether or not she likes that or not.
Right, whether or not that's the team that's helping produce or not produce. I think it's something good for the team that you want. You always want the fluidity. You want it to be viscous. You want your girls to be with one another and having a good time. But, you know, she did also mention that she wants her girls to be out there and focused.
Tennessee on top, 2-0. Lady Vols have 3 hits today. They've capitalized on some defensive miscues by Ole Miss. Tennessee looking to even the series. Kenna Gibson ahead, 2-0. She's 0 for 2 today. Now ahead 3-0. McKenna's nickname is Boo. And when you listen to some post-game press conferences, if you're not aware of who Boo is on the team, as an outsider, you're wondering, who's Boo?
Who's Boo?
And it's McKenna, for good reason, as she works the leadoff walk here in the 6th. She's had that nickname since her childhood because her parents thought she looked like Boo from the Monsters, Inc.
How sweet. I'd like to see a cutout of that.
Well, you know what's funny? The support staff does have a comparison between the two. It is really cute to see as Gibson will come off. And pinch runner Katie Taylor comes on for Gibson. Just a second walk issued today by Bree Lopez. Tennessee scored in back-to-back innings. They've gotten the leadoff runner aboard in 2 of the 3. Nancy Evans coming out to have a chat with Lopez.
You imagine this conversation is once more just a temperature check. How much gas does she have in her?
Goes to Miley Uchenyo.
It's hard to say that with 8 strikeouts, but I agree with you. I do think that they kind of started to get on top of her off-speed pitch that she was utilizing predominantly here to sit a lot of those UT hitters down.
So far for Lopez, 2 runs, 1 earned. She, struck out 8 like Carly mentioned, walked 2. And now Ole Miss summoning Miley Uchenyo out of the bullpen to face Sophia Nugent with a runner on first base. Uchenyo got the start last night against Tennessee. She logged 5 2/3 innings. Allowed 2 runs, both were earned off 4 hits. Just 1 strikeout for Uchenyo. She did walk 2 and got the win last night. Lopez got the save. There's a bunt, and it's foul. More small ball from Tennessee.
An interesting approach taken today. I think it's a completely different approach taken than yesterday. I mean, you've seen almost every one of these girls, 1 through 9, at least show bunt of some sort, whether it's sack or a sneak.
One, two's fouled off. Nugent was responsible for Tennessee's first run back in the 4th inning. Got the sac fly RBI that scored Taylor Panel. Taylor Malvin and Jaden Pone in left center field. After Malvin made the catch, they both bumped into each other, fell down to the grass, and that allowed Panel to score without a throw. Popped up, and De Leon, the shortstop, makes the squeeze for out number 1. What does Miley Uchenyo do so well inside the circle for Ole Miss?
I think she comes out here with a fiery attitude. I think that she takes the ball from whoever she's getting it from and is ready to step into the circle and deliver. I think she's excited, and as a freshman, you have nothing to lose. This is all the opportunity for you to gain by playing girls like this. It's this caliber that make you better. This caliber that helps you learn, grow.
And Bocheño and Brie Lopez are close. In fact, they bond over Fortnite together.
Not a concept I know, but she did say earlier that she would in fact be in what was it, one of her corners?
Sure, we'll go with that. 1-1. Gabby Leach at the plate. She's struck out twice today. Yeah, don't necessarily understand the Fortnite, but it is something that Ole Miss softball does bond over, we've been told. One and two to Gabby Leach. She's now 0 for 3 in this series against Ole Miss, and contributing the most this year that she's had in her 2-year career. Played 40 now, 2 games this year, played in 35 last year. 2-2.
Bocheño kind of struggling here to find the strike zone as Leach is looking to approach and get on for the first time today.
Bounces away from Brady, and Taylor moves up to second base. Now a full count for Leach.
A lot more mistakes here from Ole Miss. A lot more pass balls, I think, than we've seen in previous games.
You know, we talked about Ole Miss playing loose and free, but those mistakes have to be because they're playing tight, or I don't know if you would agree with that.
I think it.
Cut on and miss, strike 3, the first of the day for Bocheño, but
It could be both. You know, I think, you know, Coach Trashel said earlier that she was a little worried the girls were playing a little too loose and was a little bit too focused on how tightly they were playing.
Laura Mueller steps up with Taylor on second base and 2 away for the Lady Vols in the 6th. And Bocheño misses inside. Bocheño, too, and also Jamie Traxel, they were both happy with last night's outing because Bocheño had struggled in her previous 2 Friday starts. She allowed 6 earned runs last Friday, I should say now 2 Fridays ago at Georgia. And did that hit Mueller? She's claiming it did. Emerus Addison behind home plate doesn't agree. It's 2-0.
She was eager to get on base.
Well, you have to sell it, right? I mean, as the hitter, you have to.
Do you want to sell it, or do you not want another opportunity with a runner on second? With 2 outs, this is that 2-out production Karen Weekly's been begging her team for.
Now 3-0. Here's another look at it. Kind of hard to tell. Get me over strike 2 for Bocheño. Just recently on NFCA's National Freshman of the Year Top 25 list, Bocheño. First Rebel and the second ever to be on that list, joining Haley Lunderman back in 2016. Now 3-2.
I think Miley does a great job here of not being afraid to place that same pitch, you know, with maybe a few centimeters different in height across that plate. But I like that she'll come back to that same spot. 3 times in a row there.
Called strike 3. Bocheño's pumped up after that. Tennessee Strands, 1 in scoring position in the 6th. Rebel Bats have some work to do. They look to do some damage in the bottom half of the 6th. Really good at bat, 2 for Mueller. The second-year Lady Vol.
this is one too, Mueller that will get a hold of that off-speed pitch and will take it to the opposite side of the field.
Called strike 3. Marcheño's bumped up after that. Tennessee strands one in scoring position in the 6th. Rebel bats have on the Tennessee side of things. Well, they're All-Americans, pitched a dandy, and their offense has capitalized on Ole Miss mistakes. Carlin Pickens today 7 strikeouts and 5 innings of work. She's walked 1 and allowed 4 hits. 71. Hack and miss for Aaliyah Binford, who's 0 for 2 today. Carly Hummel, Jay Cremata with you. Rest of our fantastic crew today. Jack Robertson directing, Mason Atkins producing. As Binford rolls one to short, and Mueller can't glove it. Throws late. That's always a tricky defensive play for the shortstop, isn't it? Deep in the hole, trying to backhand, and then when you have speed at the plate, rushing to first, it's always tough.
It is. And how hard Pickens is throwing, the girls really need all they have to do to have a hard bit ball that way is to get the barrel straight to the center of that ball.
They give Binford the hit, her first today, and team leading 51st on the season. Star Ferguson comes in to pinch run for Ole Miss. And Percy Yamas, who's 1 for 2 today, steps in. This is where Ole Miss has struggled today with runners on base.
They're giving themselves another opportunity to get out of that slump. I think pushing into postseason, this is something they've got to get better at. It's something you've got to make better adjustments at, and quickly.
Ole Miss won yesterday 3-2, going 1 for 12 with runners on base.
You've got to see more production than that. I know Coach, she's got to be frustrated. When you've got a pitching staff that's, playing up to the same caliber against who they're playing, I'd argue that Ole Miss has looked pretty similar here.
Yeah, Coach Traxel, her team today offensively 0 for 11 with runners on base. A team that hits .320 in conference play with runners on the base paths. And .320 in conference play as an offense is really good.
It's intimidating.
But Carlin Pickens, you give credit to her today with traffic on the base paths. She's really stepped up. Yamas back to Pickens. It ricochets off her leg. A snap throw to second, and Ferguson, after turning the bag, is back in time. A multi-hit day for Percy Yamas. And everyone's going to take a look at Carlin Pickens here.
She's been struggling here, and taking that ball right back at the hip. You imagine now that their coach comes out here and does more than just a temperature check, maybe even asks for a couple throws, see if she's okay. I imagine she does a couple walkthroughs here, see if anything's seriously injured. At the top of the last inning, she was doing a little hip stretching, a little butterfly left and right. So you're wondering if maybe there's some hip flexor situations going on.
Or just staying loose.
She's got a fantastic stride. So, I think by the time she reaches the outside of that pitcher's circle, she's what feels like about halfway to you. It would be one of the first injuries, I think, that's probably prone to the way that she pitches.
Ole Miss's coaches are meeting together down the third base line as Pickens will have to go up against Lexi Brady. But last weekend, too, Ole Miss, their offense, we talked about it coming into at least all afternoon. They've struggled with runners on base. Wasn't really the case at Georgia.
No.
In game 1, they scored 20 runs, most in a conference game since 2019. Walked 12 times and tied a program record. Hit 2 grand slams in that game. Brady had one of them. And between Ole Miss and Georgia combined, they scored 31 runs and tied an SEC record. A lot of offense for Ole Miss last weekend, not so much here this weekend as another pinch runner comes in for Ole Miss. It's Ryan Starr to run at first base. So the tying runs for the Rebels on the base paths in the home half of the 6th. Key here for the Rebels, too. Nobody out.
That's right. Nobody's out.
Lexi Brady can give Ole Miss the lead with one swing of the bat. Ole Miss's power hitter takes strike one. She has 15 homers this season, tied for the most in a single season in Ole Miss history. She wanted to hold back, but couldn't.
She kind of swept through that.
32 homers, fourth most in a career at Ole Miss. Eighth most RBIs, 2 in a career. Held up her swing there. Pickens dealt that at 74.
Picking up a little velocity.
I think she's okay.
Imagine a lot of that's adrenaline.
Swing and a miss.
And that right there is why she is well about on her way to a 2-time All-American. That is a fantastic answer back after taking one straight off the thigh.
8 of them now today for Pickens.
I mean, really utilizing that off-speed pitch.
Mackenzie Pickens, a dribbler back to Carlin Pickens in the circle. They go to third for one to get the force, so now there are 2 outs.
And a quick play by Pickens. You almost thought she was going to go to first and then remembered, wait, I have a force out at 3. Trying not to put herself in the same situation as yesterday. Not allowing a runner from Ole Miss to get on third base.
What was nobody out and runners on first and second base is now runners on first and second base and 2 quick outs.
I'd like to keep the runner off of third, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
She knows that 2 may not be enough. It wasn't enough yesterday.
Ashton Lansdale has struck out twice today and has struck out 4 times in this series. She was one of Ole Miss's hottest hitters coming into this series. She was 5 for 10 in her last 4 games with 10 RBIs. 4 homers in 4 straight games.
You've watched her struggle here the last 2 nights. It's easy to do against an established pitcher like Carlin Pickens.
Yanked down the line and hooking to the bullpen. Tying runs aboard for Ole Miss, trying to take the series against the number 1 ranked Tennessee Lady Vols. Got the 3-2 win last night. Ole Miss taking down the number 1 team in the nation for the first time since 2017. They've won 2 of the last 3 series against Tennessee. Got her swinging! 9 Ks for Carlin Pickens today. Ole Miss is stranded.
Forward to keep pushing on.
Ella Dodge leads off this 7th inning for Tennessee, looking to make it all that much harder for the Rebels. It's Dodge today, double back in the 5th inning. That helped get Tennessee's 2nd run on the board. Kinsey Fiedler hit her around. Here's a bunt. Lansdale can't play it. Ella Dodge having a day, a double, and now a bunt single to begin this 7th inning.
I think they've done a great job at that today, too. UT has been throwing the bunt down, at least once at bat. And if it's not the first, then it's the second. And they're taking full advantage of where the defense is playing. That's a prime example of it right there.
It's a tough angle, too, for Lansdale. She was crashing in, and that bunt was hit more to her left. I was just about to say, Tennessee at the plate, they were 3 for 21 at the plate today going into that at bat. Now they have 4 hits. Here's another bunt with Chenio off the circle, or out of the circle, and throws out Emma Clark.
And that's what you like to see from your pitchers, ones that are able to do it all, you know?
Now the 9-spot hitter, Savia Morgan, at the plate. One down and a runner in scoring position for the Lady Vols. And the freshman takes upstairs. Reached on an error in her first at bat, Morgan. Walked it back in the 5th, was stranded on third base. Ole Miss's corners are playing in.
You expect they might think a bunt.
A bloop down the left field line, and it drops in front of Pone. However, Dodge retreats back to second base.
From your outfield, leave your feet. You like to see them leave their feet a little bit, you know?
And Jayden Pone has made some spectacular diving catches the last couple of series. But this just kind of dumps in there. So Morgan's on first base with her 43rd hit of her freshman season. And the reason for this 2-0 lead is at the plate right now in Kinsey Fiedler. RBI single back in the 5th inning. Triple last night for an 8th time this year. Tied for most in a single season at Tennessee. Tying Lindsey Schutzler, recent Tennessee Athletics Hall of Fame inductee a couple of weeks ago. And Fiedler did not mean to make contact. 1-1. What's your mindset if you're with Chenio here inside the circle? Runners on first and second base, down 2-0.
You know, I would think about what Fiedler has done in the past. I mean, she's got a fantastic eye, and this girl's pretty selective. It's at the top of your lineup. She's going to be hard to face.
That one spun into the strike zone, 1-2. Fiedler began her career at Washington, spent 3 seasons out west. Her first season in the SEC.
Fiedler didn't look too happy at that pitch. And this is a lefty who utilizes all of her utilities, all of her skills by swinging away here.
Now a full count. 2 singles this inning for Tennessee. Fiedler looking to capitalize with already 1 hit today. Foul, third base side.
You wonder here if situational hitting puts her on. I mean, you've got Lansdale back at third, almost on the grass. If you could put a ball anywhere, I'd put it right there in front of third base.
Lansdale hasn't played a lot of third base this season for Ole Miss. In fact, it's just her second game.
She's being shifted over here now.
Ball 4. Bases are loaded for Tennessee in the 7th.
Wachenio beginning to struggle here. We've got bases loaded and 1 out.
For Taylor Panel. And a name you certainly don't want to see with bases loaded right now.
No, you do not.
For Tennessee, you're thinking, yes, Taylor Panel's at the plate. Put this one away.
I don't think Tennessee's upset, no.
No,
I mean, and at this point, she's going to be given an opportunity to be thrown at. You know, I think last weekend she saw enough intentional walks. This girl would love to be thrown too.
Tennessee fans are up and moving, dancing around above the Tennessee dugout. They're loving this situation right now. Looking to even up the series. These two gents are bringing the party from Knoxville down to Oxford.
Fiedler told her dugout when she got walked, this was our time, this is our moment. She was rounding third.
On the field is that the runner at first
5-0 Tennessee.
With Morgan in front of her who hadn't scored yet.
do have a challenge too by Ole Miss. So they're challenging whether the runner at first base left early. Talked about it last night with Taylor Panel. She shines in the big moments for Tennessee. McKenna Gibson's at the plate. And looks at ball one. Karen Weekly said in terms of Panel, her maturity, how much she loves the game. She's grown to understand too that, you know, you can't go 4 for 4, but you can have 4 great plate appearances. And her best one of the weekend in her last at bat.
I think that's how offense, truthfully, will struggle the most. Hitters want to get on all of the time, you know, but truthfully, you know, you may only get on 1 of 3 at bats. It's hard to make adjustments.
And Gibson fouls it off. And you may only get on in 1 of your 3 at bats, and the 2 at bats that you had that you didn't get on were your best at bats.
Right. I mean, there you go back to the drawing board. You figure out what it was that you did right. Were there pitches that you're looking for, or were you just swinging? Was it situational? Were you put in a situation where you had to do something you didn't want to? Did you miss a signal?
Now 3-1 lead. This is the toughest part too of Tennessee's lineup. Taylor Panel at second base, cleared the bases on her 11th double of the year. Doesn't get any easier with Gibson, and she walks for a second time today.
Miley is really just looking to get out of this as Jamie comes to the plate. You assume maybe she's making a change. I don't know.
Jamie Traxel chatting with Amaris Addison, our home plate umpire today. Aaliyah Binford is in Ole Miss's bullpen, and she's coming out to the circle. So Uchenyo unable to get out of this 7th inning for Ole Miss. Tennessee ERA is 1.87, and she comes into a situation down 5-0 to Tennessee. 2 runners on, Carly 1 away. Her job here is just to throw strikes and try to get out of this inning if you're Ole Miss.
That is her only job. I imagine that's exactly what Coach just told her now. Get us out of this so that we have another opportunity with 3 outs left of this game to produce something, to put up anything. You can't win a game if you don't score a single run.
Allison Cooper's last outing was in a midweek against UT Martin a couple of weeks ago. She finished the game, faced 5 batters, and struck out 2. And she faces Sophia Nugent in the 7th inning with 2 on and 1 away. Tennessee in the driver's seat to even up this series after losing 3-2 last night. Ole Miss in danger too of getting shut out for just the 2nd time this year.
And Nugent is one of those capable batters who can do that. She's seeing the ball fantastically well, especially nearing the end of the season and post just among.
Rips this to short. 1 hopper to De Leon. She drops it and has no play. Tennessee is cooking in this 7th inning. They were up 2-0 coming into the 7th. Got a bases clearing 3 RBI double from Taylor Panel, and now they have bases loaded again.
I mean, and that was a nice job by Cooper. Her job is to get the ball. These girls are going to put it in play. That was just a really hard hit ball.
Zoe Schuler into pinch run at first base for Nugent.
They've thrown a lot at Nugent inside. She's popped up majority of the time, or today at least, struggled with the inside pitches. She finds her way on just then. You like to see girls make adjustments, and I think that's exactly why Tennessee is Tennessee.
Alana Leach pinch hitting for her twin sister Gabby. And takes low.
That's got to be a fun transaction.
Yeah, Lonnie got the start last night. Was 0 for 3 against Ole Miss. Struck out, grounded out, popped out. That nearly went to the backstop. Got away from Cooper. This is her first SEC game, too, this year. Bree Lopez got the start today for Ole Miss through 5 innings. Allowed 1 earned run and 3 hits. And just fouled. And Miley Uchenyo came in the 6th. But the runner on base got 3 outs, struck out 2, but this 7th inning got away from her. Tennessee went single, sack bunt, single, walk. Bases clearing, 3 RBI double. Then walk, single. The bases are reloaded for the Lady Vols.
This is that situational hitting that Karen Weekly wants her team to advance on. And Cooper's struggling here to find the strike zone.
Alana Leach is 7 for 25 at the plate coming into this at-bat this season. 3-2. Both her and her sister Gabby from the Woodlands, Texas. And a long line of sisters that have played softball at Tennessee. And Leach grounds it to De Leon, has a play at third, and makes the play. Run comes in, though, for the Lady Vols, 2 away. Now it's 6-0 Tennessee in this 7th. 4 runs across in this 7th.
Seems like a completely different team playing each other versus yesterday. I think there's been so much foot traffic. There's been way more base runners. Just a lot more contact.
Brings up Laura Mealer. 0 for 3 today, looking to get in on this hit parade for Tennessee in the 7th. That quickly got out of hand. This was a 2-0 ball game coming into the inning. Tennessee had just 2 hits all ball game. They have 4 hits in this 7th.
They've gotten on top of this Ole Miss pitching staff as you've seen the influx of switch. For a team that started off struggling to find a pitch they wanted to hit from Bree, from Uchenyo. I mean, I think that they've had a struggle, which is hard to say now with 7 hits on the board, but
Ella Dodge is on deck. She got this inning started with the leadoff single.
you've almost seen the entire lineup. Ole Miss dugout has a couple of their starters sitting.
Now 3-2. Mealer looking for her first hit of the series. Here's the payoff. To Lansdale at third, steps on third. And this inning is over for Ole Miss. Tennessee scratches 4 across to take a 17th complete game this year. Just 1 walk. She's been so much sharper today than she was yesterday.
She has been. I don't think we were given a large opportunity yesterday to see her work through or work out of much. But I also think that was part of Karen Weekly's strategy, you know, not allowing the Ole Miss hitters to see her more or longer than they wanted her to.
DeLeon swung and missed at 75 miles an hour.
She's throwing heat. I mean, that's what I mean by a heavy ball.
Quick 0-2 count to Angelina DeLeon, who re-entered. She was pitched hit for by Tenley Grisham back in the 5th. Check swing. Here's the appeal. 1-2.
Ole Miss looking for any opportunity here to at least produce one run, something. You know, your pitching staff has to be frustrated. Offense, defense. Defensively, I think they've struggled a little bit today. Tennessee hasn't had the opportunity to be put into too many tough positions when it comes to situational play. Ole Miss just hasn't really put much of a bat on the ball.
On the ground to short. 1 away. That's Faw, the shortstop, making the play. Coming in for Mueller, who started this game at short. Now it's Taylor Roman to pinch hit for Ole Miss.
You love to see this. You know, when you're down in a game and you have 3 outs, you put the bat in another hand and you give the kid an opportunity to show her what she's got. I can do this. And just hope for any production.
And pinch hitting for Taylor Malvin, who is 0 for 2 today with 2 strikeouts. Sees it at 71. Louisiana transfer in her first season at Ole Miss. Also one of 11 seniors that Ole Miss is celebrating today. 2 quick ones dealt by Carlin Pickens.
I feel like we're finally starting to see the Pickens pitcher that all the hype has been about right here.
Got her! 10 today for Carlin Pickens.
And she knows it.
She's also done it today too with traffic on the base paths. Ole Miss has stranded 7 base runners today. She faces Jaden Pone, who's been a tough out for Carlin Pickens today. 2 for 2 with the walk. As Tennessee last inning up 2-0, scored 4 runs off 4 hits. To go up 6-0 on the Rebels in the driver's seat to even the series after falling last night 3-2.
You know, a large part, I think, today that's been a differentiating tool in who's won or not has been the circle. I think the pitch.
Fouled off by Pone. In what ways for both sides?
I think we've seen a lot more aggression at the plate, so I think that we've had to be a little bit more tight with where pitching has been. I think both teams have struggled to find a strike zone today, which is always a challenge because then you're placing pitches in areas that are a little bit more meat happy for hitters.
Meat happy.
Meat happy.
Okay. Tad low to Jaden Pone. 2-2. Pone down to her last strike.
Who has seen the ball well.
Foul, but not by much. Carlin Pickens today, 2024 consensus first team All-American, reigning SEC pitcher of the year. It's 10 Ks today, now 206 on the season, where she leads the SEC. Here's the 2-2. Back to Pickens, off her glove. And Jaden Pone's safely on first base. She's just been so impressive this weekend inside the batter's box, Pone.
I mentioned the one was a menace. You talk about a force to be reckoned with. This girl, it doesn't matter what you throw at her, she's going to throw her bat. You like to see aggressive hitting. You like to see selective aggressive hitting. I mean, what a fantastic job they did today.
Mike is one of the couple Scarlet Knights under Coach Shiano who went from walk-on to starter here to Super Bowl champion in the NFL. And there are plenty of recent alums from Rutgers who are hoping to join Mike in the NFL. So who Rutgers hopes to see go to the NFL very soon as today perhaps in the final few rounds of the NFL draft. But for now, Coach Shiano focused on his 2025 team that's trying to build off of 2 straight winning seasons. Here's some of those guys that are hoping to get drafted. Colin Pierce, the left tackle, a 4-year starter, the short end